everyone. Welcome to my show. Be sure to hit like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch for all my exclusive content. All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 104 of my GEMP game review series. I'm your host, Chris Goegland. Thank you for joining me this evening. Need to move my cell phone so I can actually see the chat since I still don't have all my equipment set up properly. I'm going to jump right into the end of this OCS game here with Silverglen and Echien. See if we can't catch the last turn or two of this game, see what's going on. We got a full board full of stuff here. 8 cards remaining plus 4 in hand for Silverglen. 11, 15 plus 3 for Edward. Why does everyone want to go back to Jakku? Now there's a card you don't see too often. You get Lor Santeca once per turn. If you just lost a resistance character from a Jakku site, you can upload a resistance character of lesser ability. This is always a card that I thought would see more play, but it really just hasn't crept into a lot of decks. I think it's probably because there aren't a number of OA guys that have higher abilities, so it's kind of like you lose a guy of ability 2 or 3, there's not as many guys you can go get with it. It's like you have to lose Leia or Lor Santeca or Rey, really, and Rey is usually possibly with Solo in space, sometimes on the Falcon, in old allies, so it doesn't always come into play. We got a super executor loaded up here, which is only immune to less than 5 thanks to the legend objective. Occupation is out. Handles the card that was grabbed there. We got a Jedi Levitation on a code clearance. That's certainly going to hinder Leia's ability. But it looks like Silverglen's kind of running out of stuff here, and Legend might have just been able to chip away enough throughout the course of the game. So I'm going to guess that Echien started this site where Lor Santeca is power plus 4. And then just dug this out, maybe with like his once per game pull or something. He's got a nice little setup here with BB-8 pings. He's got Rose retrieving. Now he's going to do some battle damage here. He's obviously Silverglen has to figure out where he wants to react to, because he's going to get battled in 2 spots here. Okay, so he's got a sneak attack instead to add a battle destiny. If you have just add a battle destiny where you have an ATST scout or lone imperial ability less than 4. Now this is unique, so he could have done it here to add a destiny or here. Also has the possibility of reacting. Well, Echien thought he was using it to put a card back. Not the text that a lot of people are used to seeing with sneak attack. Most people usually see it used to stack a card on top of your reserve deck, so then you can play other interrupts like trample or things like that to remove key characters. We see this a lot with Choke Vader as well. They battle you and you sneak attack and you put a high destiny card back and then pick off one of their key characters. But instead here he's just going to opt to draw a destiny instead, and since his opponent only had 1 card left in reserve deck, this guy's not in as big a trouble here. Does get a destiny, does draw a 4. A lot of 4s in this Walker deck here, so that is going to get rid of Anakin. He's not going to take any overflow or battle damage either. So this site is going to clear. The best Padme could do, she could battle Elsic, but then she's losing on power. well, she'd be ahead on power 3-1 and would make him have to lose 2 force, but he could react this over. Then he's 5 to her 3, and then light side would have to lose 2 cards. As it stands now, this is an extra occupation damage that you're going to take next turn by him being over there, so you'd lose 1 extra card. And instead, Echien is going to leave Rose by herself and move Chewie over in front of the pile of guys with Blizzard 4 there at that site. Jumping into this game a little late, we don't know what has hit the table, what's not on the table yet, what's already been lost. But obviously, some things there. He's mentioning, he's saying he played that wrong. We caught the end of the turn, so it's kind of hard to say. But domination, unless you occupy fewer locations than opponent. So he's got 4 right now, so it's 4 to 4. So domination is in effect here. If you win a battle, retrieve an Imperial. So now Silverglen has to see where he could possibly win a battle. Can he win a battle in space? Probably not. Just in terms of damage right now, he's got occupation pinging for 2. And he's draining for 1 at the docking bay, so he's causing 3 force loss. And we've got an open grabber still here in case the We're Doomed combo shows up. Looking around on the flip side of things, the Legend deck, you've got BB-8 doing a ping. Possibly if he gets to drain. But now he doesn't have 2 characters there, so now he's not getting the bonus from the Legend objective. Silverglen's going to drop Admiral Chiranu. And again, this is a kind of thing where you can sprawl a little bit if you know your opponent doesn't have any characters left. If you've seen a lot of them hit the lost pile, or you know that a lot of them are already on the table. Obviously, both players are down near the bottom of their decks, so there's not too many cards remaining. And he is just going to draw. So he's going to leave everybody here. He's going to pay his maintenance cost. He's going to save force potentially to react with if he needs to move the Blizzard Scout over. Or if he wins the battle so he can retrieve with the domination, now that he's also added in an extra location there. We got a couple of biker scouts here. We've got Barrack with Oberk, who only does stuff about missing people. And Irol, who doesn't do a whole lot either in this particular case. They're really just here to trigger Barrack's ability, which lets him draw Destiny and subtract that from opponent's attrition and total power, which is pretty big. And then, of course, Blizzard 4, which is a nice little target for Chewie to take a shot at. So now it's going to be tough. Again, when you have a deck that can kind of sprawl out like this, it gets kind of tough because, force management becomes the challenge there. How many force can you activate? How many different spots can you interact with? It's like, I want to battle here and I want to battle here. And if I battle here, well, I need to draw a battle destiny. I need to pay, I need the bowcaster to shoot. So I need to make sure I leave 3 here. I need to make sure I leave 1 there to draw a destiny with. Could he potentially react? Yes. Or does he just forfeit him to cover enough? Because else it covers like 5 with, it's the combo, so he's only going to cover 4. Okay. So he'd cover some cards there. What else might your opponent have in hand here? Can you activate, if you activate 5, and are you trying to deploy somebody and then pay 1 to battle and pay 1 to retrieve with Rose? And pay 1 to battle over here. Your retrieval's shut down because of code clearance. Actually, I take that back. So Rose isn't doing anything right now. Well, she's draining for 2, which is good, but because of code clearance, place that card here. Opponent's force retrieval is reduced by X, where X equals number of cards here. This is something you don't want to see if you are playing a deck like Legend that has multiple little retrieval pings. You get the retrieval from Leia, you get the retrieval from Rose, little things like that that over the course of a game can add up, especially in a longer, close game like this. Can really add up and make the difference over the course of several turns. And having this stacked here, and you think about like, all right, how many times did I not get to retrieve, and what did I Jedi Lev, and was that really worth it with code clearance out? Maybe it was. Maybe it was something big. Maybe he was able to Jedi Lev to get, Solo back or something, to keep his Falcon situation going here. So looking at overall damage right now, Darkseid is doing 2, possibly 3 from occupation here. Most likely we'll say it's 2 a turn and then a drain of like 1 somewhere, possibly 2. So they're doing anywhere from 2 to 4 damage a turn. Lightside's doing 2 damage here. Before you were even going to consider battling anywhere, you could possibly use your Legend objective to take a peek at some cards. Peek at top card of Force Pile and Reserve Deck, and then put both those cards in any order on top of one of those piles. So if you're going to battle somewhere, take a peek, see what you got. You got BB-8 doing another ping here. So battle deployment gone. Imperial Command from hand, that's also gone. And now BB-8's going to do a ping damage as well. Silverglen certainly in a position where, a card like Imperial Command would be something that he would really need to have or love to have. There goes Tarkin from hand as well, just not enough force to deploy him really at this point. And now we got the sorry about the mess coming from Chewie. Gonna try to take out the Blizzard 4. And that should do it. Draw 2 plus, he already hits the 4 right off the bat. There's another 4. Probably just really more of a pile of interrupts left at this point, right? So now there's a pretty big power difference here. Can certainly still battle these guys, take a shot at Barrack. If Lightside can, clear them off of, this Jakku site, they'll be in a much better spot to cause overall damage. Yep. Probably not going to get everybody this turn, though. With Barrack drawn to reduce, and them getting a Battle Destiny. It's not just attrition, it's also total power. And the forfeit on these guys forfeit for about 5 apiece. Sorry about the mess is unique, so Solo can't just like play it out of the lost pile now and get rid of Barrack. It would be really awesome if you could, but that's why it's unique. Just a 2 for Battle Destiny, not great for Lightside. And it's a 2 for Darkseid as well. Which he is just going to make him redraw here. Just so he uses up his remaining Destiny cards. So that way when Padme battles Elsic, if he does have any type of trick like a sneak attack or something that would add a Battle Destiny, he won't have any cards left in his reserve deck. Or he would not be able to use Barrack's ability. He is going to use Barrack. and draw his remaining card from his reserve deck. So even though it was a low destiny card that he drew, and it helped him a little bit in the win-loss situation. Yep. And Echien's got 4 attrition now because of the redraw. But, you have to have resistance characters in order to trigger the redraw ability on Legend. So if he is going to battle somewhere else and he wanted to make sure he peeled that card, and Silverglen will lose the Blizzard 4 from the used pile to satisfy the 1 battle damage, but he does get to keep 2 characters, and he will have 4 ability there to draw Destiny next turn. Yep, and he will react over with the Blizzard Scout. Draws a 4. It's good enough to get rid of one of the 2 of them. They're both forfeit 5. You get rid of Elsa because he's lower power, I would think. Yep. And now he will peek. And we'll see if he possibly moves these cards to his force pile. He does, giving himself an extra force to work with. So now Padme could possibly move over to block the bigger drain from Chiranu. Oh, he's going to battle in space instead. Okay. The last card in Silverglen's hand is an Imperial Command to limit his opponent to just 1 battle destiny. Is that 1 card in Echien's hand a all wings combo? Trample's the card that was already grabbed, but there's 2 of them there, so just 1 destiny. Silverglen has no cards that he can draw, so he does win the battle, and he will get to retrieve an Imperial out of this because of the command. She will gladly pay for it at this point. Lightside's going to lose the battle by 4 power, so they're either going to have to lose Finn. Yep. Silverglen just has the 4 attrition here. The tie doesn't quite cover it, but you can take into hand a tie, just forfeit it from a location. So if you wanted to, you could forfeit the tie and like Ozzel or somebody else off of this, just so he could then have an extra card back in hand. In this case, he is just going to lose Marek Steel, though. And then Padme's going to move over to block the bigger drain. Yep. So now it's 13 light side to 7 cards for dark side. Dark side's going to do 3 damage here, and then presumably move these 2 guys over in front of Rose to at least make it a smaller drain. You could be thinking about battling. I don't think there's any situation where you'd want to battle on Cloud City anywhere. I think I'd rather just shuffle some people around. I mean, there's a possibility here. There's a very slim possibility here that, Lightside forfeits BB-8. If you draw low enough, they lose the Villager. If you draw high enough, they lose Leia. Is there a scenario where, and then only one of these guys is still there, so then it's one of these guys against the Villager and BB-8? It's not really gaining a whole lot of ground there. Echien loses It's a Hit, and I think I can handle myself off the top of his deck, and a Rebel Leadership as well. So now he's lost his 3 force. Tight game. Moves the Blizzard Scout over with Chiranu. And just, he's going to draw a couple cards. So if he's tracking stuff around and he knows possibly, what's where, he does draw them all. So he doesn't leave himself, since he's only occupying 3 battlegrounds, this won't let him retrieve now, because it's 4 to 3. So he goes ahead and draws all of his remaining cards. Looking for something that will help. He's got 4 ability here to clear to draw Destiny against Padme. He's got 4 ability here, right? Because he's got 4 ability here with these Biker Scouts to draw Destiny there. Potentially one of the cards he picked up could be the sneak attack, so he could add a Destiny maybe here. But he's going to lose a couple cards here. There goes They Must Never Again Leave This City. There goes Sergeant Barrack from hand to the drain of 2 from Rose. And BB-8's drain damage will be an Imperial Command. He's going to peek at the cards now. Okay. Figure out what order he wants to put him in. He puts both cards in his force pile. And at this point in time, battling with Padme, not ideal. You don't want to battle here, because the best you can do is kill one of their things, and there's a good chance she's going to die when they draw a 4. That leaves one of the guys behind to then drain and do the ping damage. Either way, you're going to get pinged for the occupation, but you don't want to give up the drain at 2. So she's kind of content just chilling there. So this is kind of just on lockdown. All the action should take place right here. But now the question remains is, can light side do enough to do anything here? Like, this is, these guys forfeit for 5. Is there anything to gain from battling there? And the answer is probably not, and that's why he does move away. You battle here, you kill one of them, potentially they draw high enough to kill Leia. You just kind of, at this point, you just kind of move away. You're draining for 2. If this, the X is a 6 to 4, so it could make it. You'd have to leave the tie, otherwise the occupation's going to get canceled. And then move the Executor, and then this thing is not very strong by itself. Doesn't have a lot of forfeit up against 2 Destiny there. So you're looking at or you just have to give up the occupation at this point, and then there goes most of your damage potential. So you survive another turn or 2, but then you don't really do any extra damage on those turns. So looks like Silverglen's going to lose this game, just barely. And his opponent has about 6 minutes left, so he can't even play for the timeout here. But it does look like Echien is going to just squeak this one through. Get a drain of 1 at Bespin. There goes Lor Santika. There's a 1 ping from the occupation. Yep. So what's the best case scenario here? You battle and kill Padme? Yeah, Silverglen's kind of out of options at this point, because he's out of force to work with. Because of the Falcon, episode 1. This is a drain of 2. This is a drain of 2. He's only got 4 cards left. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and concede it. Not much else he can do here. Congrats to Echien on picking up the win. Well played by Silverglen to keep this game this close. I've seen this matchup a couple of times, and usually the legend objective flipping and basically making the Executor only immune to less than 5 is kind of problematic because this deck likes to sort of just, rely on this being high immunity with a couple of pilots on it, high power, high immunity, and it just kind of tanks up the system a little bit, which is a little harder to do when your immunity is limited to 5. You have to either commit a couple extra characters there or your guys just start dying. And then a lot of the little pings stuff can start adding up from BB-8 and the retrieval from Rose if it gets around. So, all right, let's take a look at our OCS leaderboard right now. There's about a week left. If you haven't finished your games yet, you've got about a week, a little over a week to do it. Paul Meyer's up in the top spot right now, but I believe he already qualified. Let's double check that because I'll admit I'm a little behind on my leaderboard standings. Yes, Paul qualified in March. We've got Tom, who has not qualified yet, sitting in second at 10 and 2, and then a couple people here at 9 and 3 right now. Jared has not qualified. He's currently got a slight lead there over Pat Johnson and Drew. Dylan is already qualified here by going 12 and 0 in June. And MHT got a Season 1 at-large bid. Stevie Getz could pick up a win and kind of get into this 9 and 3 pile. Then it would come down to, you got Bastion still sitting there at 8 and 0 though. Bastion is already qualified in the first month, so if he continues to win games, he could potentially get up here into the top spot, pushing everybody down. So Tom would be the only one who would end up qualifying for this month in that scenario. And then an extra at-large bid would be created. We've already had one overall at-large bid created. So, if he plays his last 4 games in the week, and I don't want that, and he manages to win at least 2 of those games, presumably. If he were to go 2 and 2 here, he could definitely get in there to create that other at-large bid. He's got a pretty good record of playing all his games. I think there's you can kind of count them on one hand the number of people who have played all 12 games every month of the OCS since its inception. And Bastion is on that list, and he's kind of proud of streaks like that, so I would definitely count on him continuing that. The question will be is how many of these remaining 4 games does he win? Could win all 4 very easily, You also have Joe right here who could also do it as well. Joe qualified as well. He could win 2 more games. Win his last 4 games, get up to 10 and 2, and possibly also bump some people around and create an extra at-large bid. So there's still a live draw there on him. Then you got some other people. Werf's at 5 and 1. Silverglen just lost that game to drop to 5 and 2. So they still have some work to do in the last month. And we've got some other people down here. Looks like somebody's just play testing some random decks or just playing games for fun. Kev Boz, just coming out of nowhere, coming completely out of left field. Kevin Shannon jumping right back up, picking up where he left off basically at 4 and 0. Can Kevin play 8 more games in a week? Maybe. You would joke and say Kevin can't play 1 game in a week, but because Kevin times out all his games. But we'll see. And obviously, I got a whole bunch of games here still have to play, so I'm gonna have to try and jam some of those in over the next week myself, because I am also on that very short list with Bastion of people who have played every game every month, and I don't like having streaks broken. What do we got going on here? Any rumors of any of these characters in the old Allies and No Idea decks getting nerfed? Any of the Resistance characters getting nerfed? Unlikely. People seem to feel that Rose and BB-8 are fairly well balanced, and there's just some sufficient counters to deal with them. You just kind of have to play them or know how to interact with them. So um, I don't see any of them really getting any types of tweaks anytime soon. But yeah, we'll get the September League started soon. Get that up and going for the final month of the OCS, and that'll wrap up our season for 2021. And while we're waiting to see if we have any other games going on here, oh, thanks for throwing that out there, Bill, in the GEMP chat that people could join in if they wanted to. What are the counters to the giant doom stacks? Well, you can use weapons and play the cards that can, Point Man, which cancels Keep Your Eyes Open, so then you can shoot lots of people. You could use cards that blow up lots of stuff. Um, you also have things like Luxor Droid, which you can just use to kill BB-8. You don't have to worry about them. We've got the new Alter Friendly Fire combo, right, card that's supposed to specifically do stuff about that. Friendly Fire. This does something, right? Battle just initiated a site where opponent has 4 or more characters. Draw Destiny. If it's less than the number of characters they have, they pick one to be lost. So you start picking some guys off like that. I mean, obviously, yes, the Doom stacks where people just pile up guys left and right. It does get annoying and frustrating, but little things like, I mean, it's kind of the alter. This part didn't really change. Uh, yeah, I got it. Hide my playtesting cards. Oh, hey, look at that. Well, you can only see that the title of the card. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Hey, you can see the title of a card. There's a Qui-Gon card that's in playtesting. Oh no, you probably one that's already been spoiled. If not, oops. That card might never see the light of day, but you never know. Um, yeah, a lot of those things do rely on. I mean, Legend obviously has the built-in protection for one turn. With the no weapons, your opponent can't use any weapons for a turn, which is kind of silly. Obviously, you have things that are not weapons, like Choke Vader, which also helps to get around some of those counters. I certainly could see him getting a little bit more play as things like Keep Your Eyes Open become more popular. Um, there's always things like First Strike to force your opponent to use force. If you can catch them off guard with those interrupts as well, that can certainly help you out in a pinch. Um, just play some Jawas to make them spend their force, so then you can First Strike them. It's kind of a long counter, but we've seen it before with uh, stuff like, what was it, Darrow and some of that other stuff. Broken concentration. Oh, yeah. Okay. Don't show me again. That's what I want to click. Change the format filter to open to filter out playtesting cards. There you go. Thank you for that. I will make sure when I move that over onto this screen, I just changed it to open to filter out any playtesting cards. So if I look up anything again, I won't have to come up with anything. But yeah, if we check out our spoiler thread, there's been, since I got the spoiler card last week, there's been and then the card got changed. There's been a number of other spoiler cards. So this was spoiled on Hollow Theater last week. We got a new defensive shield, Crossfire. Force generation at Endor system may not be canceled unless their Endor objective on table. So strike planning and Endor, a combo that's been around for a very long time, is now kind of getting hit a little bit there. So certainly that may impact some decks that like to just run strike planning and Endor as an extra system. Now Darkseid will get their Force icons back. Discord, we got some Scarif stuff. We got a Facebook page thing, Instagram, hitting up all of our different social media platforms. We got a new Devastator announced on the announcement page. Vader deploys -2 board, may deploy -4 as a react to Scarif or same location as Tantive 4. Thinking about entanglements, which would start this. Is there really a big upside there? I mean, obviously the game text is better than the ship that has no game text, but you're probably not getting a whole lot. Just in terms of other decks being able to use it. If you happen to play against Diplo or something, deploying as a react against a Tantive, which you know is going to have or be on the table, could certainly be beneficial there. And just having the ability to deploy Vader for 2 less could help as well. Slack channel, we gave Ketwall. If piloting a freighter or starfighter, may lose a force to cancel an attempt by opponent to target that ship to be captured, hit, or lost. This screams like a player-created card. It's like we already have Theranet. We don't need another card that, I mean, it cancels the weapon destiny. So now it's like, oh, now we don't like tractor beams either. Um, at some point in time, like the game is about weapons. Like the opening scene of the game is a ship shooting weapons at another ship. That's kind of the whole point. Star Wars, right? And now it's like, no, you can't shoot at me. You're gonna make my ship lost. Come on, man. Uh, yeah, no. There are certain people in design and development who have hated Starship weapons for years, and then there's certain people in design and development who love Starship weapons and think that they're great. And there's always a little bit of a back and forth tug between them in terms of which way to get stuff going. Kendall did Off-World Jawas. This is one I haven't seen yet, but apparently Bill wants me to talk about it, huh? Okay. It is a Jawa. Power 3, ability 2. He's a thief, he's a scavenger. Okay. Draws 1 destiny if unable to otherwise. Alright. Oh, I guess it's a... Yeah. Deploy 4, forfeit 4. But it's only 1 character. Seems like it should be like a combo card or something, but okay. Draws 1 if unable to otherwise. Already not thrilled with that, but okay. If you just verify... I guess you gotta do it so that otherwise nobody will play it otherwise. If you just verified opponent's reserve deck, use 1 force to search that reserve deck and place 1 weapon, device, or unpiloted starship found there in Lost Pile. If there are none, they just lose a force. Alright. So this kind of goes back up here as like with Ketwall. This is Jawa Siesta, so this is another light side card. It's like, I'm going to stop you from using your starship weapons to shoot me, and then if you happen to verify, I get to verify your reserve deck, I could, and I'm playing these characters, I could also get rid of your starship weapons, so then you can't shoot my ships. It's thematic. I get it. I don't know. Not. It certainly will change the way people play the game and possibly even deck construction. Um, but verifying opponent's reserve deck, giving up information has been a penalty for a while. We've had cards like Pod Racer Collision and changing the odds that they seem to come into play. They're always like a 61st kind of card where you'd like to fit it into play. Pod Racer Collision works a little bit better because at least you can pull it with We Must Accelerate Our Plans, which some decks will already rely on 2 to 3 copies of to get their location activation. So, yeah, I mean, penalizing for missing uh, pulls, that's always one of those things too. That's always a bit of a hot topic, hot button issue. It's like the penalty is you let your opponent look through and see all the cards in your deck, and now they know everything. If it's early, that's a big penalty. If it's late in the game, not so much. If they only have 5 cards left in their reserve deck, you're not really getting a lot of information there. You probably have already seen those cards at some point, and they're just double checking a destiny. Certainly would make somebody think twice, but obviously it's a character or whatever who's on table, so not really a surprise factor as much as the interrupt. You'd have to really, uh, you know, be a knucklehead to walk right into this one. If you were just checking destinies and you know you don't have this stuff here, and you're just like, my opponent's just gonna spend one to make me lose one. So Bill disagrees. Bill thinks it's the best card. Bill, did you design this card? Oh, player card. Hey, hey. Mind what you have learned. Oh, got a mind what you have learned boost. Okay. Deploy on your character of ability greater than 4. While present, adds 1 to training destiny draws and force drains here. The first force lost to a force drain here is stacked face down. Opponent's ability required to draw battle destiny here is +1 for each card stacked here. Maybe I'm missing something. How would this ever possibly work? While present, so you put it on a character before, and then while it's present with so you gotta put it on the Jedi or the Apprentice. So this part adds 1 to the training destiny draws. Great, but you can't force drain on Dagobah. Maybe something is changing with that. Maybe something will allow you to force drain on Dagobah. Maybe we'll be doing Jedi training somewhere else. Who knows? But already it feels like there's something missing here with this mechanic. First force lost to a drain here, a stacked face down here. So obviously if you're draining, the card gets stacked, and then they need higher ability to draw battle destiny there, which implies that they're going to be able to come in and interact with you. So how would all of these things work if your guy has to be on Dagobah? So maybe there's something else going on here. Maybe we got, maybe some type of, maybe we finally get Luke's training academy. Who knows? Yeah, you're gonna test all the way to 5 and finish that, and then take the apprentice back into your hand. Again, by that point in time, like this text is no longer really relevant. So you're not training anymore. So then you're doing this after you've picked your apprentice back up and then completed and sent him off to go do his thing. Yeah, you're dead. You don't have any force left to redeploy him at that point in time, because my what you have learned is a little too slow for that, and too many decks do too much damage usually. People don't usually get a chance to test to 5. It just takes too long. This is the card I spoiled, which has already been changed. So it said during battle, if your total power is greater than opponent's, you add a destiny to power. This got changed to if all your ability here is provided by Yoda, smugglers, and or Wookiees. So now you've got this Chewie with other smugglers, or so watch your step, or Wookiees, or just happen to be with Solo or Dash or Lando, who are versatile utility characters that could show up, or Yoda. Chewie and Yoda add a destiny to total power. And if that Yoda happens to be the one who's power +3, so then you've got 12 power between the two of them, adding a destiny to power, making another 3 or 4. We'll say 4. Now you're up to 16, and then your total power here is +1 for each character present. They're fighting 2 or 3 guys. So you're at power 19, and then you get a battle destiny on top of it, puts you at like 22, 23, just for having Yoda and Chewie. Could be rough. And then we got a whole bunch of community stuff. So yeah, there you go, Master Qui-Gon. Yeah, so he's already been spoiled. So we're good. I'm reading too much into the training draws +1 and not the big drain potential. No, I could be. So you ignore this part of it, and you just focus solely on the while present force drained here. You're adding 1, 2. So you put it on, so you're training daughter. You put Jedi Luke down somewhere. He's got his lightsaber. You slap this on him as well. Now you drain +1 with the lightsaber, +1 more with here, and then when they lose that card, it gets stacked face down here. So under the device. So then if the guy with it leaves the table, the cards on it would then go back to their owner's lost pile. Okay. And it makes them have to have more ability for each card stacked to draw a battle destiny. So you start going, and if you have completed test 2, they already need 6. So now you've got 7 ability, 8 ability possibly. Maybe now Maul doesn't draw destiny against Luke because you've force trained 1 or 2 times. Yeah, I guess that could be this part probably not so much then. Yeah, because you're not going to put it on your apprentice or your mentor. You're going to stack it on, your Luke or your Obi or whoever is elsewhere and do this part of the text. Is there a way to pull devices? I'm sure there's something that'll get that out. Okay. So maybe there's a little bit more use in this part of the text if you play it right and just sort of ignore this part. I can get behind that. And we got a whole bunch of communing stuff. Oh, that's a lot of communing stuff. We got Yoda's hut, Obi's hut, Jedi Temple meditation room. Which they're all 2-0s that pretty much only do something if the right guy is communing. And I'm going to guess that when you start communing, you have to put a Jedi out of play or something like that. So you start this. If your starting location had communing in game text, then you deploy it and stack a Jedi with communing in game text on it. Okay, so you start one of these locations. You play the starting interrupt here, which then gets you the epic event. The epic event says you can't deploy Jedi with communing in text, so you can't run multiples of these guys. It's kind of choose your own adventure, which way you're going to go between Qui-Gon, Kenobi, and Yoda. And then you deploy communing, you stack the Jedi on it, and you deploy up to 3 effects that deploy on table and are always immune to alter. So if you start this one, this is the Qui-Gon one, you can go get the Theed Palace generator. That's the 2-2 site, right? Yeah. The generator is the 2-2 site, the core is the 3-2. Okay. So you can go get the 2-2 site. So you start at 2-0, which lets you pull, and they can't force drain there. Neither side can force drain there. Alright. And while Qui-Gon is communing, you may not deploy rebels. Alright. Total power in battles +1 for each Jedi communing. Jedi Council members are Destiny +1. So Yoda's now Destiny 5. Is that Yoda? Yeah. Once per turn, place a card from hand on used pile to draw top card of force pile. Okay, so more card draw, more manipulation. Not bad. Let's go back and read commuting for a second there. If a Jedi about to be lost or placed out of play from table, stack that card here. Jedi stacked here are communing and are considered out of play. Your force generation is +1 for each Jedi Master communing. So regular Jedi that go out of play. So if you lose Obi or, Depa Balaba or Ki-Adi-Mundi or whatever, those are not going to add to your force generation. Once per turn, may peek at the top X cards of your force pile or lost pile. Where X equals the number of Jedi communing, may move one of those cards to the bottom of that pile. So you could peek at the top card of your lost pile, and if it's a card you don't really want to get back, you could then move it to the bottom, so then you could potentially retrieve a better card if you had something that retrieved force. Okay. So that's kind of what no rebels. So you got some, the WAP card pool, or resistance characters. You could play the whole episode 7 package because nothing really stops you from doing that, does it? Basically play a legend deck that just communes Qui-Gon instead. Not sure it would really be beneficial to do that, but I'm just saying it's an option you could go. Kenobi, while communing, you may not deploy Jedi except Yoda or You may not deploy Jedi or permanent weapon cards. So no Jedi, no EPPs. Well, that stinks. If a rebel in battle, use one force to add 3 to your total power, 5 if it's Luke. Once per turn, download a battleground that is related to a location on table. If Obi-Wan communing, once per turn, subtract 2 from a just drawn permanent weapon, weapon destiny. Stops EPPs a little bit. Again, no force drains at the hut, which is good, and it would let you get a related once per turn, download a battleground that is related to a location on table, so you can set up your Cantina Shuffle, because here's your Tatooine, set up your Cantina Shuffle, or, some type of interior Jabba's Palace sites or something to go with a, guts kind of deck. Play some rebels running around inside Jabba's Palace where they're all power and forfeit +2. Certainly some options there. Seems a little more open-ended than Qui-Gon communing. And what do we got last here? We got Yoda. So you get Dagobah Yoda's hut. If Yoda here or set 16 Yoda communing, once per turn subtract 2 from attrition against you. So you could use this if Yoda here or set 16 Yoda commuting, broken concentration is canceled. So you could use this in a regular Mind What You Have Learned deck, because while Yoda's there at the hut, you still get your -2 from attrition, and you get to cancel broken concentration. So it's kind of been a counter. 2 Mind What You Have Learned decks to slow them down with their testing is broken concentration. I guess you'd have to use failure at the cave or something instead. If Mind What You Have Learned needed to be slowed down. Broken concentration has also been kind of an annoying card in a number of other decks, usually in combination with, at the Eric White Jawa that lets you spend your opponent's force and use their force with broken concentration to then move their cards around. So they end up having to save like 4 or 5 force a turn just so they can do one very simple action. Usually we've seen that in a lot of lockdown strategies, mostly in decks that can pull cards like a CCT IG or maybe even like a Dark Side Senate or something that can kind of set up that rather like little cumbersome combo, but when it gets up and running, it can be very annoying and very difficult to deal with. So having another way to cancel broken concentration is good. I believe it's already on the effective repairs combo. I think also already cancels broken concentration, but just having it on an effect or on a location you're already going to have in play certainly makes it a little easier. And then you got Yoda. While communing, you may not deploy Jedi Knights or maintenance cards. So you could deploy Jedi Masters if you wanted to. No maintenance cards. Dagobah Icon Luke is deploy -1 and power and defense value +1. So Son of Skywalker deploys -1, so he deploys for 4. Power and defense value +1, so power 6, defense value would be 6, 7 with Luke's lightsaber. This kind of ties in, I guess, him getting a little boost, because now you've got the Anakin Skywalker card that digs him out that we got in the last set. And then once per turn, may download a battleground with 2 dark side icons. Once per turn, you can get a battleground with 2 dark side icons. Okay. Certainly opportunity to get some battlegrounds. This would set up the Cloud City lower corridor site, which is a 1/2 that we typically have seen a number of decks play. It's an interior Cloud City site, so vehicles can't go there. Characters armed with lightsabers are power +2 there. So if you were to get Son of Skywalker to that, you pull that site, it's a 1/2, get Son of Skywalker there, gets Cloud City so he can deploy there. Now he's deploy -1. Get him a lightsaber, so now he's like power 8. Pretty good. And then once per game you can retrieve a force. Okay. Still only deploys to Cloud City though. Yeah. Yep. So certainly some interesting stuff here. We'll have to see how many more cards we're getting here, what else we're getting. We obviously have a whole dark side theme that hasn't been revealed yet. I'm guessing maybe that's what Dan's going to spoil this week. But we've seen one, two, three, four, five, six cards from dark side. Probably going to be a little more to the Scarif theme, I would think, than just locations. I feel like they would need something else to kind of, like a shield gate or something. We haven't really actually seen that card yet, I don't think. And then we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 15 light side cards with this whole communing theme. And obviously got the rest of this Wookiee theme to flesh out. Probably going to be some more locations, you'd think, right? Uh, Kashyyyk doesn't really have much in terms. They've got two sites in the system right now, so we'll probably see another location or two, probably another Wookiee or two to flesh this theme out a little bit more. And then we probably have some more, one or two more of these Scarif cards here to flesh out dark side, plus a whole nother theme that who knows what we're going to get. And then obviously there's a hint about a mind which you have learned kind of being a possibility here. Whether it's something that they're staggering that'll come out over a couple of sets. And right now it's just like let's sprinkle in some cards, maybe build mind which you have learned up slowly and kind of see where we need to go, or maybe there'll be a whole bigger theme that comes out still yet to be revealed in this set, or possibly in uh, next sets in 2022. All right. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. I know how much fun you all love listening to me talk about Star Wars and stuff like that, but I did promise last week that I was going to give away one of these guys here. One of these lovely Darth Vader Emperor's Enforcer foils to people who signed up for Worlds by the start of the Hollow Theater show last week. And 20 something people all signed up. Hang on, there you go. You don't need to see my head that big. Okay, so we had 20 people get weekend passes, and Casey got a main event pass. So 21 people. I'm going to make Casey number 21 on this list. These people signed up after the deadline. So I need a random number generator. There we go. All right. 1 through 20, Casey is number 21. To find out who wins the card. I don't want to do like a dramatic drum roll or anything, but good luck to everybody. Let's find out who wins the foil. Number 19, Pat Johnson. Congratulations to PMJ. Not only did he have a good month in the OCS, but he has just won himself a Darth Vader Emperor's Enforcer foil. Congrats, Pat. Come see me at Worlds. You know what? Before I forget right now. I'll make a note right there. So make sure to remember to bring it with me. I do have a couple of these left. I'll come up with some new contests to give them out between now and the World Championships leading up to that event. Random things that we'll be doing through the PC store, whether it be as purchasing cards from a specific set or something like that, to do some more drawings. Because like I said, I only have a limited number of them around. I only got 8, so I don't have very many to give out. People keep asking me like, what can I buy so I can get one of these? And it's like I only have 8 of them, so we weren't able to produce a large number of them for whatever reason. So it's not like I can just start giving them out to everybody. It's kind of a limited print run right now. We will have some more later. Um, Whatever that term means in PC language. So for now, we'll be trying to do some things to give as many people an opportunity to get one of these cool foil cards as possible. But it might come down to just having a little bit of luck, like we saw there. with the random roll here for Pat Johnson. So okay, well, it doesn't seem like there's too many other real games going on here. Watch your step first court. This is Premiere through Reflections 2. Okay, let's take a look at that. Premiere through Reflections 2 is the upcoming throwback format for the World Championships event. That's the Friday morning tournament. Watch your step most likely be the most, you know, it's certainly the most perceived, the perceived most popular light side deck. Now, whether that'll make everybody steer away from it because it's the one that's kind of the most obvious, um, it got a lot of cards in Reflections too. It's kind of like the whole, smuggler theme. There's a lot of good people right there. You have Captain Han and the Falcon already. You get Dash and the Outrider. You get Mirax and the Pulsar Skate and the objective. You have a Lando. You've got a wedge and a ship and a cannon. You know, you've got options for which Luke to play. You've got the Palace Raiders from the Seal Deck version that you can play. There's only 2 docking bays. You don't have the 3rd docking bay yet from the Tatooine set. I don't think that's included. Tatooine came out after Reflections 2. I'm pretty sure. Let's check our format rules. I'm pretty sure it did. But if you ever really want to know, you can go to Format Rules, and you can take a look. Premiere through Reflections 2. Yeah, no Tatooine. Death Star 2, Reflections 2. So Tatooine came out just after Reflections 2, I guess. So Watch Your Step will certainly be a popular. There's 3 or 4 versions of it you can play, and I believe one of them is already programmed in. It's the EPP Luke version that Bastion did very well with, and Mike Dalton also did very well with in that time period, playing at a number of regional events and open tournaments, and yeah. You've got Court being a good package for Dark Side for a mains platform. Obviously, the ability to pull Mara Jade. She then pulls her lightsaber as a quick setup for a drain of 2 at the audience chamber there. Having the ability to pull starships from your reserve deck to get stuff like Bosk and Houndstooth, Fett and Slave 1, Zuckuss and Mist Hunter certainly can keep your opponent honest. Like Wedge just chilling out here right now, very vulnerable to Zuckuss the Mist Hunter. Deploy, battle, draw Destiny, possibly crack its immunity. These ships are immune to less than 4, less than 5. Not the easiest thing to get through with just one guy, but if you happen to have, Bosk who adds a battle Destiny, Forlom with Blaster who adds a Destiny with Zuckuss to get a second Destiny draw, then you have a few more options. There's a Stinger. Do we have a Gurry? If he's got Gurry in hand, this could be pretty big. She deploys for free. Nope, no Gurry. So he is just adding a little extra power, though, with the Stinger. He draws Bosk and Houndstooth for Battle Destiny. Um, of course, 80 to 90% of a Watcher Step deck, other than a few of the interrupts, like all the key cards, none of them are virtualized. So they're all just the regular cards there. Can take 2 battle damage. And we do see a couple of Palace Raiders here. So Palace Raiders and Patrol Crafts is another option. You can Insurrection as one of your sites. You can pull the spaceport docking bay. Not as good because no escape is obviously a card that can hurt that. And make their deploy and stuff extra cheap there. The advantage is, of course, your stuff deploys pretty cheap. You get the ability to, react on exterior sites, set up celebration, uh, play Fallen Portal and stuff like that when you're hiding at docking bays. But okay, so Vader cutting Lando in half. Lando's going to return the favor. See if he can alter the deal. He draws a power pivot. Gonna have to read some of these cards we've got on the table here. Lando's gotten his Destiny +1. Yep. Hey, there's that Guri. So Lightside's gonna peel Lando. Whether he's got a Hoojix or he's just gonna lose 4 cards. He's gonna lose 4 cards. Alright, so we got the YT 1300 transports. So he's got these guys on table. Partner them up with some Raltier freighter captains, right? That was always the thing. Looks like is this a Kessel run? This is a Kessel run. So he targeted Mirax and Tatooine. X equals 3, huh? Corellian Engineering Corp is also out. Freighters are deploy -1, hyperspeed +1. Quad laser cannons deploy free and add 2 to their weapon destiny draws. Quad laser cannons can deploy on freighters. Quad laser cannon may deploy and fire for free aboard, so that's always a nice little perk. You can do these guys with the Raltier freighter captains. They add a nice little bonus. Target one of your smugglers, add another system. He targeted that at Tatooine. X equals the distance between the 2 systems. X is +2 from Pulsar Skate. Alright, cool. May add ability of your unique smuggler board to X on Kessel Run, targeting that smuggler. Alright, well cool, so there you go. So you're only moving 1 parsec away, but you're making it a 3. So you will get to retrieve 3 cards for completing the Kessel Run. It's interesting. And obviously he could potentially try to move further from some of these other systems. But he would need something like the few maneuvers that he drew earlier in order to make the jump from Parsec 1 to Parsec 7. So now if you're light side, what are you looking for? What are you thinking you need here to make a move? Matching another ship would certainly be helpful. It looks like he missed. An X-Wing laser cannon would be ideal. You would battle, shoot Zuckuss down, make him immediately lost, from the X-Wing laser cannon, and then beat up on the Stinger. Because this thing has a permanent pilot. Provides ability of 1. So if you had another guy in another ship, or just, a Raltier freighter captain and one of these YT things here, he's going to go Lebo. So Lebo is a smuggler, so now he's giving him having the extra smuggler board gives him the extra battle destiny. Doesn't have enough ability though. Both of these guys draw off unable to otherwise, so he's still only getting 1 destiny here. Hey, but there's a Falcon with a route to your freighter captain. So now he's got enough ability. But I really want to look and see what Lebo does. While aboard any freighter, adds 2 to hyperspeed, draws 1 if you have completed Reikar's run or a Kessel run, opponent loses a force during each of your control phases. Okay. And we got a Melas as well, so now we've got 7 ability to get around Zuckuss with Melas 5, 6, 7, 8 total ability. 16 power, 2 battle destiny from the extra smugglers. He's going to have to lose a force from the objective for not having a guy on the ground. If Dash had been in the reserve deck, it would have been obviously some more power here, but he's going to lose another Kessel run. Okay, so he's got some Kessel runs. Kessel run, not the more common thing we usually see and stuff like this. I feel like On the Edge was more popular as a retrieval force in this platform in this time frame. You have your Luke, you have your Captain Han that you can kind of target with it, and you can play it again from your lost pile with the objective, so you get multiple uses out of it. Uh, there's no defensive shields that are going to stack and make you pay extra for cards. You're just running interrupts out of your lost pile constantly through through this time frame here. So without some of those counters, so it's either going to be a bunch of extra grabbers uh, for for dark side. Otherwise, light side's going to be abusing some interrupts over and over again. Bumps it up, adds 1, so we've got 24 to 12. Zuckuss and the Stinger will cover 9. Dark side will have to peel 3 cards. And light side just has to lose the route to your freighter captain. Light side did start battle plan, so dark side would have to pay for these drains of 2 and 2, which right now might be their best option because it's a guaranteed source of damage. Your objective's doing 1 ping because they're not on the ground. You activate 15, you spend 6 of it to drain for 2. Deploy a ship. Bosk is still in there, right? So deploy a ship over here because most of everything your opponent's got is kind of stacked up over here. He gets to retrieve a couple cards. No secret plans. He gets the freighter captain, and a Kessel run back. The Falcon can make this jump, or something with a few maneuvers. But you have the option because Corelli is out. Like if you put Bosk here or here, whichever system you put him to, he'd have the option. He'd be able to move between the 2 systems. It'd be harder for light side with their limited ships and things like that to be able to trap him. And he moves away from Kessel, his last remaining ship, which flips his objective back. Obviously, he was concerned with leaving his ships the way he did because he didn't space them out right there. So yeah, I would certainly expect to see Mick pay to drain, pay to drain for 4. There goes the Luke Skywalker, control tunnel vision. No cards in hand, and because he flipped himself back, he can't play anything from the lost pile even if he wanted to. So he couldn't play that control tunnel vision to cancel the drain. He couldn't play an It's a Hit or something from the lost pile to cancel it. Yeah, so if you had a ship, you could get here. That might not be bad. He's got no cards in hand, so all he can do is move someone in front of you. So yeah, get a ship to the lower end here just to satisfy battle plan is really all you're trying to do. So these drains are free. So that'll leave you more forced to move guys around and draw cards and stuff. Oh, he's got a second Zuckus. It's probably a good call, honestly. In this particular format, right, with Watcher Step being popular, two Zuckus, not a bad call. And that'll suspend Corellian Engineering Corp as well. All your freighters deploy -1 and are hyperspeed +1. So all the freighters. So that would have been, these guys would have been hyperspeed +1, so they'd been 6. The Falcon would be a 7. The Outrider would be a 6. Okay, so they could move with the Engineering Corp out. This is not a freighter, this is just a yacht. And neither is Wedge's X-Wing. Okay, so a couple other ships, these could have made it. Now the Falcon can still make it. And it's only suspended while opponent controls Corellia. So if you move the Falcon in front, you could then move the Outrider over as well. And he does cause 1 force loss from Lebo because he completed the Kessel Run. Okay. Certainly a viable strategy. Anytime you can cause force loss like that. Legendary Starfighter is also good for that, for causing some extra ping damage, especially if you can win battles in space like he was able to last turn. So dark side sitting at 34, light side down to 21, and they're about to get drained for a whole bunch here. So we got 2 simultaneous actions. When he moves, he flips the Watcher Step objective. He also reactivates his Corellian Engineering Corps. So now you can see hyperspeed +1 from this is back active. So now their ability there. This is now, oh, Lebo adds to hyperspeed as well. So that's hyperspeed 8. And then these guys are hyperspeed 6. So they can move between Corellia and Tatooine. It's definitely an interesting approach. All right, though, this game's obviously got a lot of life left to go in it, and I have a league match that I have to get ready for soon. I'm taking on marketing advocate Jared Napolitano in our Coruscant League event, game number 3. I have to go pick a dark side deck to play that I think can do well against something Jared would play. So that's going to take me a few minutes to figure that one out. So we're going to wrap up the show tonight. Thank you guys all for tuning in and watching. Congrats again to Pat on winning the foil. And stay tuned for upcoming shows where I will announce other ways to get your hands on the Darth Vader Emperor's Enforcer alternate image foil card. You guys have a great night. Thanks for watching. See you around real soon.